So there's the Viego that you were talking about. I'm worried about the Paperman. I feel like Viego hasn't found too many inroads so far.
Call me crazy, but this was not what I was going to say. I was going to say, I feel like Cassante kind of goes hard here for DRX.
I mean, Rich has been pretty amazing on his Scion. From the other victories that we've seen from DRX, a lot of it has been to do with this guy's Scion, as the answer from Doran will be this Camille. Camille Nocturne, pretty powerful, right? You can play out these 1-3-1s pretty devastatingly.
It's great
in side lanes. Yeah, exactly right.
And I do think that in the past, I would have, in any other team Doran was in, by the way, I would have been like, I don't know if you could trust Doran to be the guy to punish the weak side Scion / Ornn / any sort of weak side safe pick it's really difficult to punish, but he has been so much better about it overall this season and this year. He's moved into T1.
And we'll see whether DRX can channel some of that, or whether T1 just once again are gonna look better. Let's dive into the rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 2 of DRX versus T1. And I do want to address a cute little fan sign as well that was up there before. I didn't read the whole thing because, of course, my Korean is not fantastic, but it basically said, sorry, mom and dad, but I had to go and watch T1 on Parents' Day. So it's on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's the same in the US.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure.
I always thought that they were a bit different. Or is it like Father's Day is different, but Mother's Day is the same? As now Faker could be in a little bit of trouble here, as some rocks are being flung at him. Carrier moves over. Gumushi's here as well, and the flash has to come out. The Ignite was traded for it. What you want to see. Or is it just filled because it's like the first time that he's brought it back?
I think it's still refillable. Right?
Yeah.
Because even though it's
But he didn't fill it when he went back. He bought it.
Yeah, but it can be refilled, so I still think it's refillable.
Does Boris refill it for you before he gives it to you? Like, is it sort of like a...
I think it's
like if you get a bottle of water at a restaurant?
I think it's sealed on purchase. The sponge is up here, but can't do anything. So yeah, back to, hold up.
Yeah, Yukal not going to get hit by the Dustbringer as Seismic Shove comes through, but the Charm was in the air, and Yukal just walks towards Faker and dies.
Yeah, that looked very funny. It almost looked like the Charm just had an insanely long duration, but it was Charm into Fear.
Yeah, and also he got feared with Phase Rush procced, and so he walked very, very far.
Yeah, that's very funny. He could have flashed the Charm, but thought his Seismic Shove would be enough to buy the space he needed there. And considering Faker already had his flash down, I do feel like you could flash that and be totally fine.
Yep.
Decided not to. Played it greedy. Sponge is going to come over here and potentially challenge this Drake, but with no mid-prior of the wave crashing, I don't think this is realistic.
Well, there's a bit of a battle towards the bottom side as Carrier going down very, very low. Faker thinking about moving on over to defend that one. There's level 5s for both of our junglers. Yukal will be able to skate his way over here. The Dragon is down low. It will be a smite fight, won by Ona for now, as he'll have to flash to get himself out of the way. But Andil, he's going to follow him. The Weaver's Wall comes in, and they all pile in on top of the Nocturne. And he will be seismically shoved into the Death Chamber. Faker now moving back towards mid, and DRX will be able to try and find some of the spoils as Sponge transforming into Ona will be able to take his Gromp.
These are the Andil games, you know, where you're like, oh, I see the angles. I see why this guy got his starting position back. They're looking for more here now into the bottom lane.
Oh dear, there's a flash immediately by Gumayushi actually, as Carrier is the one that's going down very low. Andil able to get himself out of there, but Sponge is just dead, and that was a whoopsie.
I mean, trying to dive in Nautilus can be very difficult, as we know. And as DRX were reminded, because they're so confident they can do it in this case, like, oh, we're so ready to win this dragon fight, and then, oh my god, we can actually coordinate this dive down here in the bottom lane as well. When could have just been happy with the dive and maybe zoning away the bottom duo instead. Sponge is going to be able to take this first grub without using smite.
Yeah, so grabs that one. Carrier just going to stun up Andil just for a moment as he's pulling him back in, being a little bit frustrating, and Andil going aggressive. Doran moving over as Rich trying to defend, but the Q finds absolutely no one, and Andil is just dead. Can they get anything in response? That's the question, as Seismic Shove will connect onto Gumayushi, and Rich, he's going to survive. They're looking a little worse for wear. Teleport has just come back up, though, as the Grubs move back into the pit. Lazy Field positioned here in this mid lane, but I don't think they're going to be able to defend as these Grubs are taken by T1. They should be able to get two of them, as never mind.
I don't know if they should, but they're going to.
Yep. Carrier sitting in this brush here. True shot barrage, not going to hit anyone. And there are both of those grubs going down. In goes the Scion as he's trying to get rid of Gumayusi, and that is an engage onto LazyFeel if ever I've seen one. He just evaporates. Andal going aggressive, and Yukal trying to find a few windows as there's the flash in from Doran. Hextech ultimatum onto Sponge, but now he's just in the Thunderdome by himself. T1 kind of playing it well, being able to take one of them, but they lose their AD carry as well. And finally, they're able to take down Sponge. Rich now coming on in. He's now joining the rest of T1. These health bars are so low that nothing's landing from DRX. They can't get any of the kills.
They don't have enough damage here. Without LazyFeel, I just don't think you can win that longer skirmish. Ends up being a trade, but a trade up for T1 again. Now 2,000 gold ahead in this game. Out of the initial part of the fight is...
Oh no, Mystic Shot going wide is a disaster, and Gumayusi walks up to him and shoots him at the end there. And so was comfortable to surmise, not comfortable to watch again as that max range hook, just gorgeous. Down goes Mr. Sponge. He couldn't even flash or ult or anything. He was just dead.
The confidence with which DRX are playing with is so much better than it has been, but sometimes it's okay to be a little bit nervous about making some decisions.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's a difference between confidence and recklessness.
Yeah, there's starting to give me some like 2022 Live Sandbox feels right now with only go in, only fight, and force every fight, and also try to greed in every lane.
And honestly, it's kind of weird because it makes me think about 2022 DRX. And that has continued to be a little bit of a problem here. Solar Flare will be able to lock down Faker. Seismic Shove is some nice chain CC. There we go. Here's the uptick from the DRX. And now, let's see whether the down tick is happening immediately. The flash hook, not going to quite find the mark, but I don't think they're out of the woods just yet as, oh god, depth charge going to come on through as Yukal's in trouble. Does have to flash and does do so, but the double up almost murders both of them. Does manage to get the kill onto Yukal, and there we go. The ebbs and flows of DRX, ladies and gentlemen. They get a kill onto Faker, and then they lose two.
Yeah, well, it's the traditional Faker dies, but then you win the fight style is over here. Unstoppable
until hit the wall.
Yeah, there's a stoppable moment there.
A little stoppable.
Slightly stoppable.
I think Faker is pretty charming, and he is going to prove that as Rich just going to get taken out. The Zombie Scion going to see what he can do about this wave, and Gumayusi down towards the bottom side. This is really gone out of control at a very, very brisk pace.
Yeah.
Words that I'm using to describe how big it is. I think just big is enough. As Doran is going to go in onto Rich here. I don't know what I was talking about there. As okay, Faker not going to get shoved. And there is the paranoia. Down goes Yukal. And DRX, it's just really feeling like they're looking a little lifeless here in this game.
It's just hard when you're behind into this comp because Nocturne can be everywhere. Ahri can follow up so quickly. And now trying to even contest for this Herald feels like a pipe dream.
Yeah, LazyFeel going to get engaged on here as he does cleanse. Tries to get out, depth charge following him there, but he invests the flash to try and keep himself alive. Sponge standing on so much vision as they do get rid of the Rift Herald. Dredge line goes wide, so does the Charm. T1, they're happy with what they got though, as Doran just really starting to run away with this side lane.
It's just moments like this where you kind of forget Nocturne can be in your side lane instantaneously, but if you just play respectfully, then you just lose controls.
Oh, I've seen this play before, as this time Faker does not get stunned up by the Solar Flare.
TP.
And Andal is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Teleport comes in from Doran, as Gumayusi may even delivered the kill. Never mind, it goes to the GOAT. Faker's like,
so like I said before, this is the kind of game with Andal where you're wondering, like, maybe is Pleta coming in the next series? No, I'm being facetious, I'm being mean, but he has tried to make so many plays, and it's so hard when there's a global on the other side, when Faker has the charm there, he's got the turret he can play through, they're trying to catch the king, and unfortunately they kind of keep missing because it's just on the slippery Ahri. They're trying to do anything they can from behind. And then when you fail, the Leona is going to die 4 times, but...
yeah. Also, I don't think... There's just no real positives to speak of here at the moment. Oh, they did get a dragon. So there's that, as Doran is going to take a turret shot or two. Never mind, he's got a hook shot, so he's just fine. Faker now getting to work here towards his bottom side. They already have feats of strength, but if they didn't, they could get them again by locking down that first turret. There it goes. And even more money into the coffers of T1. Gumayusi moving forward towards LazyFeel is just trying. I think a lot of people have learnt that focusing Faker in a side lane to the detriment of everything else is generally not a great strategy, as Doran looks for Sponge, and it doesn't work.
This could backfire.
I think it may already have backfired, as Faker is also dead. Sponge grabs another reset. This is where it's fine. As T1 take down the inner turret and this one as well.
Faker die inside and you get the cross map win is another archetype, because there's like Faker die inside, win the team fight. There's Faker die inside, win the cross map. There's also Faker teleport to die and win the cross map.
So this is the new T1 though with Doran. So it's Doran die inside, Faker come join him to die inside while they destroy multiple turrets elsewhere on the map.
Faker is just a bro, you know?
Exactly.
He wasn't going to leave Doran out alone. No way.
No. And Doran was out, by the way, guys. And then he just kind of messes up the hook shot as he stuns Rich and then flashes in the face of Sponge.
There was probably, in realistic talk, like there was probably a split call here or a indecisive call. Like Faker's like, I think I could TP on it, and Doran's like, okay, I'm going back in.
Well.
I mean,
but like if it goes really, really long, like the Scion will be impossible to kill. It's only Faker that does magic damage on this squad, and Ari isn't necessarily known for being super good at cutting down front line.
I mean, Malignance and the
Leandri certainly does help, but
I think it's the right build here.
To stop the bros that were, you know, on a relatively decent streak.
I mean, bro beat T1.
Right. And DRX not quite being able to do so here, as the Archon has been started. Can DRX find any angles here as the Paranoia comes on through, and down goes UCal once again. This guy's Talia has looked great. But I'm starting to doubt my memory right now.
Unfortunately, I think the issue is just you're not allowed to be by yourself ever into this Nocturne, even if they are doing Otacon, because they'll just collapse on you, and Owner just so good at that. And now they can just go straight back to the Otacon. Keria on this really cool flank here as well, as Faker shows up with his ult.
Yep, Depth Charge going to get a couple of knockups here as Sponge being held out of the Otacon pit. Keria will be taken out though, and now T1 rotating over yet again. Scion finds the knockup as Doran is dead once more. And now Faker just doing what he can to try and stay in this, and maybe I spoke too soon. The flash to try and get the knockup, but it's a great spell shield, and now Owner looking to try and turn it. This Scion is just massive on this front line though, and UCal has respawned. The wall comes on down, Owner is singled out, and Rich turned into a zombie, but I think he's well and truly done his job, and I take it all back. Maybe I did really need to talk about that scaling aspect, but this Scion starting to look a bit strong.
Also, I think T1, I really liked Keria's flank idea, but they didn't collapse with him. And now DRX are going to get it.
Yeah, the response is this Otacon as Paranoia does come down. That is Sponge securing it. As now Doran trying to get in there. Owner is well and truly in there. I don't know about whether he wanted to be. As the charm comes down, Faker is cutting them all down. Both of the DPS have been eliminated. And Faker is just looking to kill everyone. Gumayusi grabs a piece of it, and Andil is going to be going down next. Gumayusi trying to get out of the way of Rich, who's just not someone that he is able to kill. And Faker will hunt down this Leona. T1, the punishment was immediate, as the Foxfire is going to be able to cut him out, as Gumayusi just spending some time outside of the queue. And yeah, as you can see, Gumayusi does need armor penetration if he ever wants to kill Scion. Look at that. Rich cannot die, by the way, guys, basically, as finally he does go down. And there goes
he gets a double?
Gumayusi. Does he get a double?
No, I don't think so.
The health bar is going down lower and lower and lower, and Keria will be able to secure it. So there we go to Scion, because that's like on-hit magic damage. As Keria does hit the 5,000 assists, and he's also rewarded with a kill for his efforts, as we saw there towards the top side. As Doran getting closed in on here by UCal, as over the wall goes Sponge. Doran is going to then flash into Andil and gets immediately stunned. So there is a nice little advantage to be taken by DRX.
Rich TPing in. They don't want to turn this into a Baron call.
Yeah, how do you feel about a 4v5 Baron start?
Well, I've seen this before, but I think this time they'll make better decisions about it, right? This time they're all in the pit. Faker flank.
Yeah. I'm all about that optimism as well, as in goes Keria looking for that angle. Once again, UCal is singled out and destroyed, and T1 just making it an uncomfortable time in the Baron pit. This time it's an immediate triple kill for Faker. Can he find more? The answer is absolutely, as the GOAT may pick up a Penta, and in fact, he almost definitely will. He's the only one that does damage to the Scion, so there's the Pentakill for Faker.
Faker with a Penta, and it's just perfect play on the Sari. 15 kills. And once again, he doesn't care about your front line. He doesn't care about your Scion. He's finding those damage dealers in the back, goes to the back of the pit, and deletes them instantly. Such great play on an iconic pick for Faker. He has so many of those. But the Ahri We knew it was coming in the draft. They pull out Owner's Nocturne. They work together so incredibly well. And it's just been Baron and try to rush it down, trying to burn it was unfortunately not the call, especially into this comp where Owner is just going to zoom through, turn the lights off. Maybe they'll catch him unawares. Nope.
They might catch him aware.
Yeah, he's aware.
That could be the way. That's all right. Spell Shield not going to get that value as the knockup does come on in. The crash into the Nocturne as True Shot Barrage doesn't connect, but now the bullet time is going to cut down Sponge so quickly. Lazy Field, he's not getting out of there. And down he goes. T1 just a little bit too far ahead now as Yucal, he's going to come in, but he's kind of like Donald Glover, holding the pizza with his house on fire. As Rich is a zombie, and Faker is not even going to let Yucal get out of this one. He is going to get charmed and destroyed. There's another ace for T1. And you've got a bit of a palindrome when it comes to the score lines here. 13-31. T1 very happy about that as they're looking to close this one out 2-0 right now.
Yep, that's the end of that. Owner's like, all right, Xinjiao, our button can't get hurt. Pantheon got a shield, can't get hurt.